All right, I have over $3 million in my 401k after contributing $600k over the last 40 years. I'm ready to retire. How about you? Same. I have $2 million, but I'm not worried. How is that possible? We contributed the same amount of money and got the same employer matches since we worked at the same company. That's because mine is a Roth account, so I already pay taxes and my gains are tax-free. You have a traditional account and still owe taxes. You're right. Well, I only have to withdraw enough to pay only 22% in taxes. Wait, what? I pay 24% in taxes over my lifetime. Deciding between a traditional and Roth account seems to be more complicated than I thought. There is some difference. But hey, at least we invested our money and let it grow over the last 40 years. Hoorah! Wow, now that's a comfortable retirement. I'm Alex, welcome to Sinspiration, where I inspire you to develop a growth mindset. By now, you should know the types of retirement accounts that are available to you and why you should prioritize retirement now from my last 2 videos. It's time to answer 3 important questions. How much to contribute, traditional or Roth, and what to invest in. How you decide will play a significant role in how much money you'll have by the time you retire. As I have mentioned before, it is best to start now, if not already. If you have, continue watching to see if my suggestions can help you with your financial situation. How much to contribute? Simple answer. As much as to get the maximum employer match. Employer matches are part of your compensation. Don't leave it on the table. If you get a 5% match for contributing 10% of your salary, contribute 10%. This is what I do and get from my employer. Now, if your financial situation is tight or you're living paycheck to paycheck, you may not be able to contribute to get the maximum employer match. That is okay. It's still important to contribute what you can though, whether it's $100 or $10 a month. You want to give your money time to compound and grow over the next few decades. If you spend all of your money every single month, you won't have any left for savings or retirement. And when you retire, you lose your earned income stream. You may have heard that it is advisable to contribute to the maximum limits into your retirement accounts, around $20,000 in your 401k. I will advise against it unless it is how you can get your maximum employer match. Why? It's because if you focus too much on retirement savings, you won't have enough money to live the life you currently live in. Buying a house or car, getting married, having kids, sending the kids to college, taking care of your parents, going on vacations, and having fun and entertainment. Let me tell you this, your life's greatest investments will most likely be your house and your family. Prioritize what will take up over 2/3 of your life. Retirement is the last third. If you don't get employer matches, I would say contributing 10% of your salary is a good number. If you've read or seen the tables of the average or median 401k balances by age group, your goal would be to get your balance to be in the next older age group. Right here, I have a 401k retirement calculator from Bankrate. Let's do some simulations here. Let's say I contribute 10% of my salary every single year based on $100,000, and I contribute the same amount throughout my entire career from age 22 to 62. We'll assume an average annual rate of return of 7%. We'll also assume that we get 50% employer match based on what we contribute, up to 10% of our salary. So this calculator here shows that over our lifetime, we will contribute $600,000, but 40 years later, we will end up with $3.1 million. As you can see, the employer match is very powerful and it helps with compounding growth in your account. Traditional or Roth? In other words, pay taxes later or now? You just have to ask yourself one question. Do you expect yourself to be in a higher or lower tax bracket when you retire? When you start withdrawing, you want to withdraw just enough from your traditional accounts to qualify for a lower tax bracket than what you were when you were working. This way, you pay less taxes. Any additional money you need for the year can come from your Roth accounts and savings. There is no clear answer as to whether a traditional or Roth account is better. It is impossible to predict how the stock market will do and what the tax brackets will look like when you reach retirement, whether it's 10 years or 40 years. Contributing to a Roth account does mean you'll have less take-home pay. While you're setting yourself up for retirement with tax-free withdrawals on your contributions and gains in the future, you'll have less money to spend for your day-to-day use, as well as saving for a house or raising a family. I recommend contributing to a traditional account if you are in a high tax bracket now, 32% or higher, and a Roth account if you are in the 12% tax bracket or lower. For the majority of people who are in the 22 to 24% tax bracket, it is strategic to contribute to both a traditional and Roth. It is common for people to contribute to both a traditional 401k and Roth IRA. You can do this on the Roth IRA until your income exceeds the limit of which you can contribute to an IRA. Here I have a Roth 401k versus traditional 401k calculator. We want to see whether it's worth it to pay taxes now or pay taxes later. We will assume that we start at age 22 and we contribute $20,000 every single year, and we keep increasing our contributions to the maximum allowed limit. We also assume a expected rate of return of 7% and a current tax rate of 24%. Now, over this lifetime, we will have contributed almost $900,000. If you were to put all of this money into a Roth account, you'll end up with $4.3 million. If you did it with traditional, you will have $4 million. So here, if your tax bracket is the same during retirement, you'll notice that it would have been better to put your money in the Roth. You see you have an extra $360,000. That's because it's better to pay those taxes earlier because your gains are also tax-free. Now, let's say if we adjust our retirement tax rate to something lower, like 15%. You can see that now it's starting to even out. You can see it's right now actually traditional is slightly better with about $30,000 or so. This is why you may want to consider traditional 401k instead of Roth 401k. And if your retirement tax rate goes even lower than that, you can see there's continual increasing advantage to using traditional to defer your taxes until later. Obviously, if your tax rate's going to be much higher in the future, it's going to be worth it to just put your money into a Roth 401k. I mentioned the annual rate of return of 7%. This number comes from what you invest your retirement funds in. This brings me to the last question: what to invest in. There are 3 funds I'd like you to learn about: large cap funds, fixed income funds, and target date funds. Large cap funds are portfolios of the largest stocks by market capitalization. A large cap blend fund may track the S&P 500 index, and a large cap growth fund may track the NASDAQ. The large cap blend fund has a large basket of stocks to diversify its portfolio and has a lower expense ratio. The large cap growth fund is more tech heavy and may appreciate more, but when it falls, it can fall more. However, the large cap growth fund also has a higher expense ratio than a large cap blend fund. Both of these are recommended to younger people who have a lot of time before retirement and can take on more risk. Fixed income funds involve bonds, certificate of deposits, and money market funds. They are more stable than stocks, but the returns are not as great. It's a great way to preserve your retirement funds if you are close to or in retirement. Target date funds include both stocks and fixed income, with more stocks when retirement is years away and slowly being replaced with fixed income as retirement approaches. You can select a target date fund in 5-year increments based on the year you expect to retire. If your retirement year lands in between 2 target date funds, pick the later year if you want to be more aggressive, and pick the earlier year if you want to be more passive in your investments. The reallocation is done for you as the years go by. It seems it's the simplest and most logical option, right? No. Target date funds have higher expense ratios than large cap blend funds. In fact, Warren Buffett advises against it. He said the S&P 500 index fund is the one to use. Actively managed funds, including target date funds, have higher expense ratios and likely underperform compared to the S&P 500 index fund, which a large cap blend fund closely resembles. I personally allocate 2/3 of my retirement funds into large cap blend funds and the remaining third into large cap growth funds. I want to take more risks because I'm in my late 20s and don't expect to retire until my mid-60s. I believe the US stock market will give me annualized returns of 7% over the next 40 years. But when I'm within 10 years of retirement, I'll start converting my large cap funds into fixed income funds to take less risk. You've got to save for and invest in your retirement. Contribute what you can to get the maximum employer match if possible. Understand your tax brackets to choose between a traditional and/or Roth, and invest in large cap blend funds. Your money will compound over time. You will invest more and more, your dividends and interest will be reinvested, and your funds will grow as equities appreciate. The appreciation rate should be higher than the inflation rate, so you should have more purchasing power when you retire. Hope you enjoyed this retirement series. Now you have the essentials to get started with planning your retirement. Hit that like button and comment below with questions you have about saving and investing for retirement. Also subscribe to my channel to get updates on new videos, and check out my page for more content on how to grow your mindset. You've been inspired today. Start early, minimize taxes, and invest in an S&P 500 index fund or large cap blend fund. Thank me in 30 or 40 years.